And with the United States of America continuing its diplomatic outreach in the wake of Israel's crackdown against Hamas, new reports now suggest that U.S. President Joe Biden has been invited by Israel's Prime Minister Biden-Netanyahu to visit Israel on a solidarity visit. But the White House continues to be watchful of the unfolding situation when the war has entered its 10th day. While the White House officially declined to comment on the invite, Joe Biden in an interview said that any move by Israel to occupy the Gaza Strip would be a big mistake. Well, since the war, the United States has vowed to show unwavering support for Israel, and that is not just in terms of escalating diplomatic relations, but also by strengthening its firepower in West Asia. U.S. has already sent weapons and warships to Israel. Well, the White House until now has ordered the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford alongside 5 guided missiles, cruisers and destroyers, and now a second U.S. aircraft carrier is all set to join the fleet. Now, earlier, Biden outlined the U.S. military assistance which is being sent to help Israel in its fight and said that he would ask Congress to take urgent action. However, after his third phone call in 4 days with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Biden promised more interceptors and also he vowed heavy response, which is these interceptors are being used by Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. Well, the U.S. president further said that he is confident that Israel will act under rules of war. Now, the last few months have witnessed a very complicated relationship between Biden and Netanyahu, the Israeli leader failing to even get a White House invite. As Israel goes ahead with its offensive, the two uncomfortable allies will be put to a further test. All this in the wake of heavy diplomatic outreach by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is now scheduled to return to Israel. He is expected to hold talks about the way forward after several days of shuttle diplomacy between the Arab states. The U.S. top diplomat since Wednesday last week is on his West Asia crisis trip and has met diplomats in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, between the Israel-Hamas conflict that we are tracking here on WION. And our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibul, sends us this report from Ground Zero in Sderot. Take a listen.
Israel wakes up to another anxious day, even as the situation of the hostages remain uncertain. It has been more than 1 week since the attacks by Hamas in southern Israel, in which 1,400 Israelis died. But the situation of hostages is something that right now remains top priority, even as the family members have been staging protests here in Tel Aviv almost on a daily basis, asking the government to take a strong action and make sure that their loved ones are returned as soon as possible. But essentially on the ground, what we have seen is amassing of troops, the Israeli troops with Gaza border, even as there could be an expected ground operation. This, of course, has another side, that is the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. We know that Israeli government has said that civilians should move towards the southern part of Gaza ahead of any action by the Israeli government. But we know that that is leading to a major humanitarian catastrophe, and organizations like the UN has also warned about it. So essentially, situation on the ground remains precarious. Many cities in southern Israel where we visited have now become ghost town, and it is something that is worrisome and challenging as well for the Israeli government. With video journalist Sanjeet Siddhant Sibul for WION in Tel Aviv, Israel.